although you had lovely hand gestures, at times, especially at the start, you clasped your hands like this. So maybe look out for that. But again, excellent start, story, and then a great, strong conclusion, which is always good to have. Next up was Glenn, and your topic was about time that you were upset. Great start, because you used the topic that Simon gave you to buy your time. And you did use some thinking time using that. Then you had the use of you used the word of the day to buy yourself some little bit more time, and then you straight went on to what you wanted to say to us. And that was great. I would not want you to speak about anything else. So congratulations to your son on that big achievement, and I hope to see I hope to see him sometime in Toastmasters. But what you probably could have worked on is, it was such a fantastic story, you could have probably told it in a more impactful way. So lovely story, but work on the structure, bring to the point quicker, and leave us with a more powerful message, because it had that potential, the story. Next up was Reena, and your topic was joy. Really love the story. And what I loved about your speech was the start. You had everyone really hanging on to that feeling, like, what is that call about? And it's kind of like what Simon taught us a few weeks back. Like, you actually start with a question, a feeling of suspense, and that worked well because we were all hooked into it. And just a couple of things. Again, really nitpicking. When you are saying you were jumping with excitement, you could have actually jumped on stage. Just like you probably caused a little bit of problem to your neighbor, neighbor. You could have done that here as well. And again, when you're talking about excitement, screaming over the phone, you could have done a little bit, given us that flavor. I know it's very difficult to recreate that moment, but then you could have tried a little bit that. But the excitement was showing on your face, and that was a positive. And I love the humorous ending as well, because then after all the story, you went back to when you came back, and then you knocked on the neighbor's doors to apologize for last night. So that was great ending. Then Adrian came to talk to us about feeling of peace, and you really you used the same technique as Glenn. That was very innovative to use your previous speaker's technique. And then you used a technique of contrast that again Simon spoke about. You used yourself as an example and your wife as an example to kind of contrast between the two of you, and that engages the audience, that little bit of contrast. And I loved the way you talked about how relaxed you were on the beach and how chilled out. It made me feel peaceful sitting there at the moment. So that was a good achievement. If anything, you were a bit like this when you were speaking. So if you could turn a little bit more towards everyone, that would be a little bit nicer. And that's all from me now. I'll hand over to Mr. Toastmaster.